are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. Hope the videos are helping you in your designing process. If they are, please go ahead and smash that subscription button. Tap on that notification bell for further content uploads. Hit that like button. Really appreciate that. Share the content. And please take 5 seconds and drop that comment down below. I'd really appreciate that. And if you'd like to donate some coffee to the cause, down around here, there's a super thanks button. You can donate some coffee to the cause. I really appreciate that as well. Today, what we're going to do, we had a post on our Facebook group to design something like this. Now, there was some comments about using bezel, and yes, you could probably do that, do the cutouts and stuff like that. I'm going to show it a little bit different way of doing it. It's kind of my deal, right? And then also, this will be a great lesson for how to use your gumball in a lot of different ways. So there's going to be a lot in this one. So let's go ahead and get going on it. First, we need to grab a ring rail, of course, and I'm just going to accept a default size 7, a US. Now we need to place the gem, right? So let's go to gems and let's just go to gems on ring rail and we'll click on that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at default and I'll come over to my dynamic commands, of course, and we're going to change it to an emerald cushion custom, right? Cushion cut right there. And we'll just leave that one right where it's at. And then I'm going to right click to bring back the command. It'll place me another stone. I'm going to go over here to the dynamic commands, and this time we're going to go to the baguette, right? Down at the very bottom here, there's a baguette straight, and just click there. And then I'll just kind of drag it over a little bit, bring it down, and we'll kind of get it somewhat, get your size that you're looking for, whatever that may be. I don't know, something maybe like this, and then kind of get it into place, and kind of get it pretty close to where you want it. You can always come back and manipulate it a little later, but try to get it as close as possible. We'll just go ahead and accept that for right now, and then we'll put it on shaded so we can see it a little bit better, right? And we have looks like it's right on the edge, so what we'll do is we'll kind of move it over just a little bit. Just a little. There we go. For right now. And then I'm going to right click, but that will not bring back the command because I did layer change there or other things there. So what we'll do is we'll just place another ring rail on stone. And again, we'll go over to it because we have 3 stones, 2 stones on each side, right? Scroll all the way down, baguette straight, and kind of manipulate that over and get that into this shape or size that you're looking for. Something like that perhaps. Drag it down. And it's, of course, way too far in there. And we'll move it over some. Something like that maybe for right now. Because we can come back and manipulate these for a while. We're going to break a little bit of history on it, but it's okay. So we'll only have to do 1/2 of it, and we'll just mirror it over to the other side. Now we have our stones, and now if you did the bezel, let's just I won't even go into that, but you'll have to do the cutout down the sides, and then you'll have to do an under-bezel, and then another bezel for down here. So it's, I don't know, it's a lot of work. I think this way is just a little easier, but, you know, everybody has their own personal preference. So this is just one way to do it, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to select our first stone, our center stone there, and we'll just do a gem offset, right? And for this one here, we'll need to bump it up however high you want that ledge to come over, right? And then we'll need to bring it in some. So something like that. I'm going to right click, select that stone again, right click, so it gives me another one. And then this one, I'm going to leave it right there where the girdle's at, and then just girdle spacing. No, that's okay. I went the wrong direction. So bump that out to however thickness you want it, because that's coming straight from the girdle. So I'm going to say a 0.9. So it'll be a 0.9 from here. And if you need to or wanted to check it, you can always go to your dimensions, click on that, go to that vert right there at the edge, and then hold down shift so it goes straight out, and the intersection's 0.9. So you can see it's a 0.9 there. Okay, so we have that little ledge, right? Now what we're going to do is go to our curves menu, and we're going to select trim curve. That'll be this one here to start with, and we're going to bring it back around here. Because if you look at the picture, it's not angled out or anything. It's kind of almost straight back for the most part. So we'll just kind of try and keep it as close to that. So we'll bring this one back around too. And if you're not real good at math, to get both sides, you can just go ahead and take it. And there's a simple way of trying to check it. Just hold down shift, draw that line on out. You can see that this side's a little bit longer. So you can just click that back on that, go to your trim curve, and move it to that point right there, right? So that it's on that point. All right, and then you can just get rid of that. You don't need it. So we have it pretty well lined up across the side there. Okay, so we'll go back to trim curve again, except we'll select this one now. And now this one, what I'm going to do is going to drag down to that point and drag out so it just snaps it right there at that edge. So now if I keep on going this way, right, it's going to want to drag out. So it just puts it right there. So now we know those are exactly the same spot, right? Okay, so surface wise, we'll just do a loft from here to here and then hit enter. So there's our surface right there. All right, now there's some things that we can do. You know, we got those curves where we want them for the most part, but maybe, you know, it's not going, we want it over a little bit. We want this ledge a little bit or something. So what we can do is we can turn back on. This is going to break history though, but it's okay because we still have normal history with it. So I think this one's on green. So let's change that to yellow. Okay, so we have these two curves. Now we're going to break the offset dynamic commands and the trim dynamic commands, but we still have our normal Rhino history, right? So what we're going to do is select this, and then we can just bump that out, something like that. So now it gives us that edge, and you can play around with these if you wanted more of an angle or whatever. But if you do it with the offset curve, you know, the whole thing is going to get wider, so it's going to move things around. Or if you do the trim, it's going to get mess around with things. It's going to move it up and not at that angle we want, right? So we'll just keep it like this. So we can still manipulate that, no big deal. All right. So now we have that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the yellow and we're just going to turn it to gray and hide it, right? And I'm going to switch layer to red. And here, what we're going to do is dupe border. So we'll select that, dupe border, and then just right click so we have that. And the nice thing about duping the border is once you do the border, it's usually closed curve, so I can it's automatically closed right now. The dupe border, I have my quick commands, but if you go to curve and you go all the way down to from object, you can click there and you can see that, and you can just drag it over to your dynamic commands if that's what you want to do. All right, so we have that there. Now what we're going to do is go ahead, select that curve. We're going to go to solids, and we are going to go to extrude to a point. All right, and I'm going to select this at F4. So it goes straight down to F4. All right. And there we go. So that's that edge, and you can see it goes right on that edge around, and it should set pretty fine. But if you want to manipulate it more, you can turn on back on those gray curves, right? And select that gray curve, and you can still manipulate it even a little bit more, and it's going to update for you. So depending on how you want to lay it out, you still have history, you just don't have the dynamic history, which is, I mean, pretty much not a problem. Okay, so you can keep on doing that if you want to, but we'll just say this is good. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go back to our gems tab, and we're going to do another offset curve except for this stone. Now this one will be a little bit different. Let's put it back to yellow. And we're going to accept that. And this one, again, we're going to want to drag up to wherever we want it. And we're just going to leave it there, right there, because if we try to make it smaller, it's going to, you know, go inside our stone, and we want it the exact size of our stone. Since I played around with it, I want it the exact size, so I'm just going to click off of it, right click, click back on it, and then do that again, just so I know that's the exact same size as my stone there, right? All right, and then I'm just going to right click to accept it, and then I'm going to right click to bring it back, select that stone again, and right click, and this time I'm just going to accept it right on the girdle of the stone, and you'll see why in a second here. Okay, so there we have it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go back to the curves and go to my trim, right? Parametric trim. So trim curve. I'll select this one first, and this one I'll drag, and then drag out that way, and then drag out. So it's right there on those edges. I'll right click, do the same thing to this one here. Right. Oh, I did not. See, we still have dynamic commands so far, and there we go. So we have it right there where we want them. Okay, now here we're going to break history again because we want to move it around just a little bit. We're going to select the one on the bottom there, and we're going to click on there, type in -0.9, and then hit enter. Let's see, let's do that again. -0.9. Enter. There we go. Okay, so now it's out. Now, if you don't want that one so far out, you can drag it back in, of course. That'll be fine. All right, so then now what we're going to do is go ahead and do that surface. So loft, parametric, and then accept that, right? So there we have that one now. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think let's see, we need to accept that. So let's see if this curve is, okay, so, trim curve, I'm going to show that. Okay, so there they are. So it's this curve and this curve. I'm going to go ahead and change the gray because we want to keep those. Let's turn those off now. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select this surface, go to my dupe border, and then change it to red and accept it, right? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select the red and go to my solids and go to extrude to point. And then this one, I'm just going to snap it right down there to that. Okay, so I have that there. That's a closed. This is an open. Okay, so for right now, that's okay. We don't need this surface. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to gray as well. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so this one's already closed right here. This one's still open. We'll join that together here in a little bit. We want to play around some more. Okay. So we have that. And again, if you wanted to, right, you can select these curves if you needed to manipulate them even more. But you can see it's not lined up with our edge there. It'll if you try to drag it, move it around from here, you're going to have some issues. So what we want to do is we want to, let's go ahead and take this surface here, and we'll just change it down to this peach here. Okay. So we want it to go with that surface, right? So what we're going to do is, there's a couple ways you could probably do it. Our gray curves are still out there. We could go to View, and we could go to Gem View, and we can select this stone here and right click, and now that's set up, right? So now if I select that gray curve and I select this gray curve, I am able to manipulate it a little, and it'll update, right? And I still have a closed surface. So you can manipulate it that way, and by using the gumball, and we're going to use the gumball a little bit differently as well with gem view, so it's lined up exactly right. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off that gray at this point. All right, so let's continue on. Now we have this one here. And so we need to do the same thing. We'll go to our gems. We'll go to Gem Offset Curve. We'll go here and click. Let's change this to yellow. And we need to drag this one up wherever we want it. Yeah, we can file that down after it's set, so no big deal. All right, so we'll accept it here. And again, we want to keep it right where we want it, right at the same size as the stone, right? And then we'll click, right click, bring it back, accept it. And this one we want to keep the same area, right? Okay, so now what we can do is we can go back to that curves menu and do the trim on this one here first, and again we'll do that side and then this side, right click, accept it, right click, bring it back, and do the same thing on that one, right? And then on this one here we want to bring it out -0.9, right? So it goes like that. Now we can do that surface loft from here to here, right click, and we have that surface. Now this, okay, the one went off, so let's turn it back on, show. So let's go ahead, take this one and turn it to gray. All right, duplicate border on this item here with red, and then right click. All right, and then again select that curve, go to your solids, and go to extrude to point, and again we'll just snap it right there. Now the nice thing about doing it this way as well, I'm going to take that surface and just I think I put the other one here, so well, we need to keep that one because it's not a solid. Oh, it is. Okay, so we'll take this surface and we'll put it there. So this is a solid, this is a solid, this one is not just yet, right? Okay, and we have a little gap there, so we probably want to close that up, right? So since we went ahead, now you could, go back before you broke history, or you can just select all of it like this. Matter of fact, you might want to turn those gray back on, right? And that surface. And just go ahead and select all of it, and you can kind of keep an eye on right in there, and we'll go to rotate and just kind of click up in here, and then we'll just kind of rotate it right like that. Okay, now that broke history, but we should be okay. I just want to make sure that, let's go back to that rotate, that it's inside our other item here. So let's turn on wireframe. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So, let's go back. There we go. It's inside, so we should be okay. Yeah. All right. So now let's go ahead, turn this off and turn all our gray off. we have this, and then this piece here, right? These two are solid, close poly, this one's open, okay? I'm just going to leave that, we'll go ahead and join it, why not? So I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to join this surface here, right click, oh, back up, sorry. This surface here, this surface, right click, and now we have that. It says open. Oh, that might be the open. What's the red one? Open. So they're both open. So maybe when we manipulate it a little bit with that red curve, we got a little opening. So let's go ahead and take that red one, since that's not the one that, and we'll turn it down here to this, I don't know, yellow here. Okay, and we'll turn it off. Okay, so this says open, so let's check to find out where it's open. And it's right there at those corners. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back and delete this one. Let's bring back this one here, right? And we should be able to select that curve. Maybe this curve is what is the issue, though. Maybe it's not on our surface because of the point. So I'm just going to delete it just to be safe, right? And I'm on red, so I'm going to do border. I'm going to do this edge, and this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. Right click, and then join together. So those are joined. I'm going to right click to bring back a dupe edge. Oh, I joined. Okay, so dupe edge, this one and this one, right click. Okay, so now I have two. So let's do a sweep two here. This edge here, this edge here, this one, and then right click. And then turn all this off. Okay, and now let's try this. Take this to this and join that together. And we have a closed poly surface. So you can do it that way as well. I'm going to take that, I don't want to select all red, just that curve, those curves there. So I'm going to select this and turn it to blue. Okay, and then we'll take that and put it back on red. Okay, so we have this, this, and this. Now I'll take those three and we'll put it on this layer here. Let's go ahead and grab all that red and we'll turn that to gray, since we know all that's one piece. All right. Well, we'll find out in a minute if that's where it needs to be. Okay, we can actually just go ahead and do it now. So let's go ahead and do it now and check it. Well, let's do this other part here first. Sorry. All right, so we're going to go back to our gems menu. We're going to get this curve here. We're going to select this and then select offset curve, right? This one will be our under bezel. So we're going to drag it down a little bit and we'll drag it in a little, yeah, right there. Okay, so that'll be our under bezel, and you can height wise in that you can adjust it however you want. We're going to select this one, right click, and the same thing, we're going to take it down and in, and then right click, and then right click, bring it back again, this one down and in. Okay, so there we go, we got those three curves. Now we could probably go ahead and select, well, you could probably do it all three, but I'm going to do it separately. So we'll go to solids. We'll go to extrude to point, select this one, right click, and then hit F4. Right, so it goes straight down, right? And right click to bring it back. This one, right click, and just snap it down there to F4. Right click, bring it back, and bring it down there. Okay, so now this, and this, all closed surfaces, so we're good. Closed, closed. Okay, so we got these three, and we got a gaps here, but we don't need to worry about that just yet. Okay, all right, so we got it here. Now, what we're going to do, we need to start getting it all laid out where it's good to go, right? So, what I'm going to do for right now is hide my gemstones, and I'll go ahead and take those curves and turn them to gray, right? We have to close up this gap, and we have to make sure that there's no gap going down anywhere in these, right? So what we're going to do is we have a gap here. Oh, we still have it lined up at our, let's just say we don't though, just for sake, we'll go to our view, go back to original, and then here, okay? So right now, this one's the center. This one we don't need to worry about because it's going to be fine, but this one here, we need to, the second stone and the third stone we need to work with, right? So we'll go to a gem view, this stone here, and then select that, right? Now this one, what we're going to do is we're going to hide the gems. We don't really need to do anything with this here, but we do need to work with this, right? And we want to leave this edge alone and move this edge. So what we're going to do is select it. We're going to go to our gumball in the little white area menu, right? Click on it. We're going to relocate, right? And I'm going to relocate from that mid to edge here over to the mid here. Now it's lined up right on that edge. So if I drag this out, it's going to move this direction and will not move this edge. So there you go. Now that's going inside there, right? So it's covered up, but we broke history, but it's no big deal, right? Okay. So now that is going inside this one, which is what we want. And we're going to go to do the same thing. We're going to go back to our gem view. We're going to select this stone and then right click. So now that's centered up. We'll hide our gems. We'll select this piece here. We'll go to relocate gumball from this mid to that end to that mid, and it's lined up, and we'll drag this one over into that one, right? Now let's make sure we got these edges. This edge looks like it's a little off. So this one, it doesn't matter. We can just bump that out, right? And this one here, same thing, just bump it out. Make sure that gumball's, yeah, okay, it's still set up with our item. So to make sure that they're going inside our other items there, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and hit OK. All right, so now I'm going to select my gumball and just auto reset the gumball. Auto reset. Oh, to object. There we go. Right in the center, right? And that one's okay. All right. And that one's okay. All right, so my gumball's back to where it's normal. All right, so now we have this. Now, what I'm going to do here is first I'm going to select these two, and then I'm going to transform and mirror them over to the other side, right? And they're joined together, or they're grouped together, so I want to ungroup them, right? Now, here's kind of the, well, we'll go ahead and do this other part first. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and this here, I'm just going to hide for a second. I just want this. Okay, so we're going to use cutters, cut to ring rail, and then I'm going to select all this and then hit enter and then enter. Okay, and I'm going to take this red because we never know, we might need it, and put it on a different layer. I'm just going to put it on this ground layer here. Okay, so we have these are not Boolean or anything, they're just grouped, so I'm going to ungroup them. All right, and then I'm going to check underneath, make sure there's no gaps, and it doesn't look like there's any gaps there, right? Okay. Let's see, did I put those? Yeah, they're there. Okay. What I want to do now is I'm going to record history error. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, and I'm going to select this one after I ungrouped it, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and I am going to duplicate in place and turn them to a cutting layer and then turn it off. Okay, so now I have this, right? Okay. The reason being is if I did turn back on history, if I had history on, so if I take this one and moved one of them, it would update, right? And I don't want it to update. I want to keep it separate. So we'll just do that. Okay. Now at this point, I guess it's okay to go ahead and Boolean union them together. So we'll select this one, right click, this one, and this one, right click, and right click. So we have this here. So I'll right click on Boolean union again. This one here, right click. Okay, let's do this again. Yeah, okay. We'll do it again. Boolean union. This, all of them. First surface, enter. Second surface, enter, and enter. So now we have all three of them. Let's go ahead and hide that. Let's take all these and turn them to another layer down here. Okay. Okay. That should have done it. Oop. Let's go back. Take this here, this one, hold down shift, this one, this single one, and this single one. There we go. Okay, so there we are. Got all those. All right, and we still have our exact duplicates of them right there. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put those edges back on there, right? And I think it's maybe better just to go ahead and do our mirror and everything first. So I'll select this one, transform, mirror in our XY multi, and then right click and select this one, mirror in our X, not our Y, and then we have that. All right. So now let's go to our cutters. And let's do cut to ring rail and select all those and then right click. All right, and then right click. Okay, so we'll select these and we'll change those to another layer and turn it off. Okay, so we have this in the center and we have these. These are not, so these are Booleaned, a closed poly surface. These are, it says closed poly surface, but they're grouped together. So let's ungroup them. So now they're individual, right? You can't ungroup this one. Okay. So now these are all ungrouped, right? And again, you probably want to make sure that there's no gaps, and there are right here. So that's not going to be something that we want. So the reason we haven't grouped them together yet, so we can just select this and pretty much just drag this out a little bit just to make sure we close up those gaps a little bit more probably. It's not going to go outside our item, so it's no big deal. So now we got that. And there's no gaps down here, right? Okay. So now what we can do is we can go back to our solids. Go to Boolean union, select this, enter. We'll do this one, this one, this one, and this one. Right click. Okay, and then right click again. We'll do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Right click. Oh, I did it wrong. So let's right click. First surface will be the one that has those Booleaned. And then right click, and then this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and right click. Okay, so the one that has them all, I'm just going to hide it. And then we're going to take all this and put it on a different color. Just so we keep everything. You don't really have to keep all this stuff, but let's bring this back. This is the one, and it's a closed poly surface, right? And if you bring our stones back out there, we take this stone and mirror it over to our other side. We have all our stones out there and everything's looking pretty good. Now, in our ring here, we have a little cutout on the side here, and this is all hollowed out on the inside there for the most part. So that's why we did this non-record history here, right? We have this all set up. So now all we have to do is select that orange, right? And we can drag it down however low we want it. And we can bring it in. And we can manipulate it on the side here. I don't think you really have to do it too much on the sides because we have quite a bit out there. You just have to kind of maybe watch this side here, how thick you want it, right? So now it's all laid out for cutout on the inside. So we can do a Boolean difference. Select this as our first surface, enter. This is our, oh, okay. Well, we can do it all. And hide our cutters, and we have the cutout there. Pretty quick, pretty easy, right? And everything looks okay. Yeah. All right, now, we don't have the cutouts for that. That's no big deal either. Now I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but this is all one piece now. It's in a closed surface, so, I mean, it's probably a good idea to full save it a couple times before you get to this point, actually. So we have everything saved here that if we need to go back and manipulate anything, and we have it all out here as well. All right, so this is looking pretty good. So now let's go ahead and take this one here and put a cutter on it. You could put all the cutters, but I want to manipulate them each individually because basically what I want to do is I want to make that cutout, but I don't want it cutting into my item there. So I'm going to turn off my stone since my cutter's out there. And I am going to manipulate this to where it's not going to do any kind of a cutout on my item. And then I'll drop it, not ceiling, placement down. And then I can move this up perhaps, but check to make sure it's not going to cut into your other items there, right? So that looks pretty good. Looks like it might be just a little bit. There, okay. Because, we don't need to, we can burr that out at an angle as well too after the cutout, so we'll take that one. Now it's hidden, so let's just go ahead and do that Boolean solid Boolean difference here, right click here, right click and right click. All right, and we'll hide all that. So there it is. I mean, that's not, but it's not cutting into my items. I want my jeweler, or basically I want to be able to cut that seat. Just make it easier for me, the way I like to do it, right? So we have that one. Now we'll do this one here, cutter, place it out there. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn off my gemstone so I can kind of see what's going on here. And I'm going to bring it in so that it's not going to be cutting my seat. Placement, drop it down, maybe just a little bit more. And then also I can go in here and adjust this here if I want to. And I want to make sure it's not going to be cutting out anything. That's okay, it looks like. And we'll take that and turn that back on. And we'll go to Boolean. We'll just go ahead and Boolean it. Oh, before we do that, let's go ahead and mirror it to our other side. Okay, and now we'll do that Boolean difference here, right click here, right click, and now we have that seat cut, right? And it's a little bit because we extruded it out, but you're not really going to see that part for the most part, right? It's all going to be pretty much hidden for the most part. All right, and let's go ahead and turn those off. Okay, last one. We'll do this cutter here. Oop. We'll do this cutter here. So cutters, gem cutter. Now this one, it's going to cut a little bit on this side here because of the way it's laid out, right? That we brought it in, so it's going to cut in a little bit. So this one, I'm just going to take way up here because I don't want it to cut too much out of that edge there. And we'll adjust that in a little bit later. So we definitely don't want it touching. Let's hide our gems. I don't want it touching. I mean, if you do, it's not a big deal. So it's not touching our placement. Let's take it down. And maybe I don't want that edge so tight, so I'm just going to take it in a little bit more. And then I'm going to check my underneath side. I want it to come through, but I don't want it to be too much. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's accept that. Turn it back on. Let's take this. Let's transform mirror over to our other side. And let's do that Boolean. Okay, so Boolean difference, enter, enter, and enter. And then hide all those cutters. What happened to that cutter? Huh, did I not cut those? Let's take these and hide it for a second. Yeah, maybe I forgot to cut it. Sorry. Boolean difference. This one, enter. This one, enter. There we go. Okay, so now it's all cut out. Yeah. And looking okay. And we have that little ledge right there, but, you know, if you wanted to, you could tilt that stone so it has more of an angle. Not going to the F4, more of an angle coming out somewhere like this, so you get that cut out a little bit straighter. That's totally up to you, but I'm pretty much fine with something like that there. Okay, so we have this for now, right? Now there's a couple other things that we need to do. This is pretty much, I think you got it for most part for now. But if you're a beginner, maybe this part will help. So we need this cutout here, this cutout, and that cutout. They're little boxes, right? So depending on how accurate you want to be, let's go ahead and put a view back to normal. Normal, and give it some shading. Okay. All right. So there's all kinds of different ways. You could just dupe edge, bring them in or whatever, but we're just going to go ahead and just do an extract curve. We're on red, so we'll extract curve. And this one here, position, will take over, I don't know, something. It looks like it goes pretty close to that edge. So let's take it over right there. And then we need to right click, bring it back, except this one, we want to take it in a 90. I can't tell if it goes with the shape. It looks like it goes straight across. So wherever you're going to want it, say right in there. And now this one here, what we're going to do is, because it looks like, I can't tell, it looks like it just goes in a box. But if you want it at an angle, just dupe this edge right here. Dupe edge. Take those, right click, join them together, right? And then you can offset curve on surface. Select your surface, hold down shift control, select that surface, press enter, and then select your curve, and then enter, and then you can offset it 1. Oh, it's going the wrong, maybe a -1. You could do it that way. Oh, let's relocate our gumball. Seaplane. You can take it and drag it up wherever you want it. Yeah, it's over. Okay. And then what we can do is project that red curve. Curves and points to project. This one, object. This. And to active view. And there we go. All right, so we have that. Now all we have to do is take this one and mirror it over to our other side. And then we can hide all green and then select all this and do some trim. 1, 2, 3, 4. Select that and then right click, right? And we have it on several different areas there. So let's just get the one that we need. We don't need any of this. It's grouped, so let's ungroup it. Ungroup. Get rid of that. Get rid of these two. We just want this one. Let's go ahead and take that. And let's group that together. Join that all together so we have a solid piece. Now I'm going to go to my front view. And I am going to select that curve and go to project to C-plane, right? And then right click. So now it's on my C-plane. I don't need this one anymore. It's okay. Now, if you wanted that curve, to be not squared, more of a curvature, put a little fillet on it, you can just go to your fillet. I think we have one here in parametric, right? Yeah, fillet curves. Select our curve. Hit enter, and we can kind of manipulate how we want it, right? So we still have the original, so let's take that one and we'll just turn it to gray. Now we can take this, hold down shift, grab our little ball, and it'll extrude it out both sides and bring back our item there, and then do the Boolean, right? Boolean difference, this enter, and enter. And take that, turn it to gray, and take our yellow and turn it to gray. Right, and if you needed to manipulate that, you could just grab it and start manipulating. So there's that one. You just do the same thing for these wherever you want them. And then, of course, the shank tools. Let's go ahead, drag that over. Yeah, and let's mirror it on the other side. Rotate mirror, we'll turn that off. And then we'll put, well, let's go ahead and get these in some kind of, let's change that profile here to something a little bit more like what it looks like, I guess. Something like this, perhaps. And let's turn to wireframe and kind of manipulate where this is all. I'll hold down 2.5 and it's up to a 3. So those are okay. I'll hold down shift and place another one right here, except this one, what I'll do is bring that down to 2.5. And it's a 2.5. So we'll just take that. We'll go to our surface sweep 2. Select this, and this. Right click. And we will sweep 2. Oh, I did the wrong sweep 2. My bad. We want parametric sweep 2. Or did I? Okay. Sweep 2. Sweep 1. Sorry. Here, and here. And that looks good. Yeah. And then right click. And now we have our ring. We can go in there and manipulate it or whatever you want. And this and this. Last thing you probably need to do, you probably want to save it. Probably need to save it a little bit more just in case. I'm just kind of comfortable with doing this one. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't be saving. So now just go to our solids, Boolean union, this here, enter, this here, enter, and we'll hide this whole thing, and we're good to go. You are done. And to me, it just, I don't know, it just looks more like, this than doing it with all the heads. With the heads, what you're going to have to do is getting that angle and everything, the exact same angle. And, you know, this, it's automatically, because you're taking it all down to a point. So it just kind of, I don't know, to me, just a little bit easier, better way to do it. And not too long. So hopefully that helps. Please leave that comment, leave me a like, share the content, and subscribe. And of course, if you want to donate some coffee, down around here, there's the super thanks button. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, and good designing.